Good morning. I am higher vibrations, and so are you. And man, it has been a very fascinating few weeks, hasn't it? Lots of energy coming in. I'm really excited. The timing that these things work out is always so perfect. Today's guest is someone who has been a dedicated holistic healer all since 2010. Like that's like 16 years, who empowers clients to release trapped emotions, reduce stress, and rediscover vitality through deeply personalized sessions. Um, the guided by muscle testing and intuition, each session integrates 3 to 7 of over 30 tools, some of which are the emotion code. I don't know how to say the uh, Yusu Holy
Oh,
Fire.
Usui Holy Fire Reiki. That's just a variation of Reiki.
Ooh, I'll have to get into that. Then QHHT and BQH to address root causes and safe, compassionate space that bridges holistic wisdom and Western approaches. With an MBA in leadership and change plus extensive training, Summer creates a nurturing environment for lasting transformation. And she does do sessions. So I will put up her contact information right now. This is her website. So, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you, Summer?
I'm fabulous. Thank you so much for having me. And I have a couple little fuzzy assistants that know when something cool is going to happen. So they're here. I've got one little one on each side. So Duncan made an appearance, but he's zoned out now. So
That's awesome. Cool. I love the fur babies. So, I just said a lot of words, and now I was wondering if you can kind of what do you do? Like, well, let's say it this way. So for 16 years, you've been healing and assisting people since 2010. So you started it before the 2012 bang of everybody coming in. What was that like, and how did that transform for you?
so I started with energy work. I think my first tool was reconnective healing, which I know some of you are familiar with, Eric Pearl. I have the frequencies. I did not go through the amount of training, but then I jumped into Reiki because I just wasn't sure what next. And my teacher for reconnective healing also taught Reiki. So she's like, well, why don't you do that? The training is very thorough. It will help you feel more understanding about how energy works. And then at some point, I ran across a book called The Emotion Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson, who is out in Utah, dealing with something called trapped emotions. And it also taught me about muscle testing. And ever since then, I've sort of combined the two. A session has a lot of different tools. And usually I work with emotional trauma, but sometimes I just take a step back and let the divine do the healing through energy work, Reiki is under the field of energy work, along with some other energy tools that I use too.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. So you're a beautiful example of uh, once we learn to heal ourselves, then we in turn learn how to heal others.
Oh, I'm still working on myself. I find self healing is so much harder, and I'm pretty biased. So I realize that sometimes I can't work on myself. I need to go outside and get advice, work with other healers, work with other readers, and really help take my information, take out the biases, and work on helping me heal myself.
I really appreciate you saying that because, I know you know this, you've observed the same thing I have. A lot of people who have these kinds of conversations, who have sessions and are practicing healers, will often try to portray a persona that's not truly
Mhm.
themselves. Like that, you know, people like us can't have bad days, so they don't show it to people or something, when that's not true at all.
Yeah. Or how can I be a healer if I can't heal myself? Which is
Right.
totally false. I think it opens you up to other opportunities.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I feel like that's true so one of the main things that people access me for is channeling and communicating with those who have passed. And I find it to be same the same example is that when you're doing it for yourself, I don't know if it's because my motivation's not the same. Like
mm,
I'm that helper. I love to help anybody that I have a chance to. That I have historically I've learned to correct this and be better than I used to regarding this. However, for a lot of my life, I would give everything that I had for someone else to have something of luxury rather than need. That was the kind of person that I was. And so I thought that what might have been why, but communicating with those who have passed for myself, my own benefit, isn't as clear as it is when I'm doing it for
mhm.
somebody else.
Yes,
Yeah.
I totally agree. It's difficult to get accurate, succinct answers for yourself.
Hmm. Right. And I like what Josh says here too. He's a really good point. Like no, he says, plus, can a person ever truly be healed? It's as much and ever expanding, growing process as anything else in life. And I feel like that's 100% true. Like there's been so many people who will heal something and then think that they didn't do a very good job because it's come back around. And from my experience, that's just a deeper layer of it that they hadn't the ability to resolve at that time.
Yes, I think there's some of us, we can heal parts of us, but there's also a reason why we came here.
Yeah.
And maybe we're never meant to heal, but to experience the journey of it.
Yeah. I find that most people that are the deepest, most profound, and this is one of the main, there's a lot of different reasons, but this is one of the main reasons I actually asked you to be on the show because you are, you are aligned. Like you're one of those people that, like a person coming to you to have a session would benefit so greatly from. And I do feel that really truly does have to do with what you've done so far. A person can't, I find, a person who has learned how to heal some others without having gone through their own purification by fire don't seem to access it as deeply or as such an aligned way as those who have had gone through the ringer themselves.
That is true. I have been through a lot. Plus, I also very understand that not everyone heals in the same way. It's like traditional medicine. Not every healing tool or medicine will have the same effect. And so that's why I'm always trying to upgrade and change and tweak what I do so that if I have a client that maybe has had years of difficulties, maybe I can help tape things down at least one notch, if not a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. And then just having that background of having knowing what it's like to be that person, I think that really benefits an individual as well. Yeah. Um, what is a session like you like? Like what like you got so many different things that you do. Like what would that be like? Like if someone came to you, um, like well, I guess first of all, uh how you go to this website to make a session with you and from there you get like what's a session period like for you? What like is it an hour or is
So
there
most sessions are about an hour and 15 minutes, although it doesn't surprise me when first sessions go long. And if
yeah.
that happens, it happens. There's no extra charge for it. Most of the session, it's sort of free flow. I ask people to bring with 3 things they want to work on. These things can be physical, emotional, spiritual, or relationship based.
Mhm.
And then I'll use my muscle testing and intuition to figure out which one are we going to work on first and then what tool I'm going to use. I've got a list of about 30 different tools that have a basis in either energy work or emotional trauma. And most of the main part of the session is not energy work. And I fully understand how important listening to the divine and what the divine wants, but oftentimes our humanness wants certain things, and usually it's different than what the divine wants.
I'll be right
And
back.
so
I'm so sorry.
okay. So I've realized that if I do an hour-long session and we focus on whatever is most important to have you heal, it's still really important that I add energy work, which is Reiki, it's Shambhala, it's a little bit of reconnective healing at the end. So normally a person will get an hour solid of what we're working on and their issues. And sometimes other things come up too, in addition to the 3 things that they have given. But then we always do the 10 minutes of energy work. And I do think, especially ending with that, helps fill in some voids created. It makes people feel more at peace. And it brings the session to a really nice, easy close.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that.
Oh,
I almost
no
burned the
worries.
house down. I was heating up tea and I forgot that I was like, what's that smell? uh, wow. Yeah. So you approach this on every direction. So this is a
Right.
whole healing kind of experience.
Yeah, I never know what will come up. Generally, we start with I'm not really too much into cards, but I have these oracle cards called Whispers of Healing. They are the most beautiful cards. And usually I pull a card to start. And most of my clients are online, so I'll generally email or text them a copy of the card and the picture of the book. But oftentimes sometimes it guides the whole session with the message. Or
Yes.
sometimes it's a reminder, keep doing this. Or sometimes it's something totally new that says, you need to take this into account. So that's how we start. And then we go through their 3 issues they want to work with. And then we'll just jump right in.
Wow. Yeah. That's
So I'm
awesome.
wondering if we should start by doing a tiny bit of energy work,
Sure. I would love to.
something called the healing pulse. This can work on anyone. It doesn't always work for everyone, but that's sort of the nature of life. Not everything works for everyone. But my instruction, if you don't notice it, is just be open. And so with this is a personal healing tool that uses my healing frequencies. It does really well with pain and discomfort. It also works well with emotions. And so you are also sending your own healing frequencies, because I do believe we all have healing in our hands.
Yeah.
And so if you have pain or discomfort, that's the easiest one, because where is it?
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got emotions that are extra strong, or if you've got anxiety, where does that live within you? So like me, when I'm anxious, it's in the pit of my stomach. And so with the healing pulse, I'll want to send energy to that. So do you have a spot you want to send energy to?
Yeah. My left upper this like upper arm area.
Okay, cool. So if you can reach it, great. But if you can't, I want you to imagine that your hands can reach it. But I want you to rub your hands together. Rub them together until they're warm and get that energy flowing.
Mm-hmm.
And then place your hand over like the center of what's most uncomfortable. Like if it's like that middle part of your shoulder. And then imagine, and this is everyone at home needs to do this too. I want you to imagine my hands on yours. And the most important part is that you just allow the energy to flow. And so with this, with each breath in, imagine the healing goes a little deeper, a little further. With each breath out, you are releasing. Maybe it's something that you're done with. Maybe it's something that wasn't even yours. And if you are into breath work, this is a perfect time for breath work. So just breathe in and deep, and out and release. And this is a pretty quick process. So just
It already feels a
allow.
lot better. Pardon me.
All right, so we're going to stop and evaluate. And so at this point, I would ask you, are things the same? Did it move? Did it lessen?
It lessened and moved, and it brought emotion with it.
Good.
Like I felt like I wanted to cry, like mournful tears. And
Nice.
it moved closer to the heart.
Okay. And so if we were to do a second one, we would do about the same length of time. It's pretty short. When I first discovered this, I was doing it through text with a friend that I couldn't talk to her at the time. So I was sending her instructions through text, and she was in chronic pain. But we would adjust our hands to slightly lower and just do it for another minute. Generally, with my experimenting with this, I call it the healing pulse. It goes to the initial area that you're presenting. If there's enough energy, it will also go to the root cause, but usually that's a lot to ask. And so sometimes things just pop and they go away, but other times they come back because the root cause is still there, and stress is a trigger. So if you're extra stressed and we didn't get to the root cause, it might come back sooner than if you were totally relaxed and at peace. Does that make sense?
It does. It makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
Because
Well,
most
it's
of
cool.
what we do is
You felt a lot of things there.
Oh, I did. I knew that tears were coming, and then at first they were like, there's the kind of tears they don't really have an emotion to them. They're just sometimes.
It's
But
a
yeah,
release.
it became it moved from like almost like a gratitude to like mourning, like grief. That wasn't a bad feeling though. It wasn't like sad exactly. It was relieving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how does that arm and shoulder feel? Is it looser?
Yeah, it feels a lot. I felt it move. I really did. Like it really worked. And as soon as
Yeah.
it did, it moved over to closer to the heart. I actually
Yep.
don't think my heart's on the left, like people say that it is. I think it's in the middle,
Oh.
But
Yep.
but it moved closer toward that direction anyhow. So yeah, it worked right away. I've been
Nice.
noticing the left arm has been weird for a while, on and off, but like just right then it was really affecting me. And yeah, I feel better. Thank you.
Wow. You are very welcome. So that was fun. I like
Yeah.
doing things like that. So this
So
is
then the
something
other
when I
arm,
do. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, this is something that when I do mini healings, I do monthly mini healings, that generally I do 3 healing pulses in an evening. So
And that was what that was called, a healing pulse.
yeah, it's just
Awesome.
my little personal thing. So it used to be that I would send people back to their wherever they go with a little baggie full of healing pulses, so if they need to use them, they have extra.
Yeah.
So I'll offer that to your audience, that they can just pull up a new healing pulse and use it.
And just go back to that
And,
moment in this recording and just repeat it again, only
yep.
applying it to a different location.
Yeah, intention is huge.
Yeah. Wow. And you're well versed in so many modalities, though I did notice that you also have the QHHT and forgive me, BQT. Is that that's the one that you do over the
BQH.
phone?
So that's a variation. So the QHHT is by Dolores Cannon, who passed over 10 years ago. And a lot of changes and shifts in energy, but it's still taught pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah.
But since then, the BQH is Beyond Quantum Healing by one of her former students, and they were very close friends. So she has sort of made it her own and has changed some things. and upgraded all the tools and the videos to make it 2026.
Yeah.
And she's got some things that are quite different than Dolores. So what I typically do when I learn something is I learn it exactly the way it's taught, and then I tweak it so it fits me better.
Yeah.
So
I
I
like
usually
that.
do a combination, and it's past life regression, but it's also connecting with the higher self or the guides, or working with questions that you might have about your life or your past lives or your future lives, or why did this happen, or why am I missing time whenever I go to this certain location, or if they have
Right.
dreams, or did my partner, have we been in multiple lives together? And just there's just so many questions that we can work on. And I also have a friend that if we can't get you under, because there are a few people that it's either a safety issue or a fear that will not let themselves go under. I have a friend that does, we do surrogate hypnosis where she goes under for you and connects. And that's sort of a fun thing too.
Awesome. I had never considered a surrogate. Uh, that's fascinating. And one of the main parts of QHHT and that type of healing is to see that there's always an emotional underlying causation for your physical distress, right?
Yes.
And so that feels like, that goes along with so much of what I do and what I believe and what I see in the
Mhm.
world, that I really resonate with this, because this is always the case, right? And what happened just then is what blocks your heart is grief. Your heart
Mhm.
chakra. What blocks your heart chakra is grief or mourning. Um, Not that it's a bad thing to have it. It's something that needs to be observed, so the flow of the river can then continue to proceed. But if you can't address or don't know what's the underlying cause, things like QHHT, these types of regressions will lead you to these answers of these questions,
Yes.
right? That's
Yes.
amazing.
Or we could attack it a different way if that is not something you're comfortable with during a regular session, especially if people are overwhelmed by a certain emotion. We'll
Mm.
find out what it is. Is it grief? Is it sadness? Is it horror? And I'll look and see how many times has that emotion been trapped within you.
Right.
And sometimes emotions can be inherited. Have you ever met a family where the whole family, even the little kids, were angry? And it's
Yes.
because they've inherited trapped emotions. And, it's really hard to do anything with that because you were born with it and it's your normal. But
Right.
that is something that can be worked on and addressed and released.
Wow. So how would you address that? Like, I mean, how does that work? When I see there's people in the audience that are interested, so I was just curious if we can give them an idea what it would be like if they came to you for a session in this way. And like, there's things that are hidden under there they don't know about. They just know there's something, right?
Yeah. And so that's when you bring your three issues, that's something that it's like where you'll say, I just seem to have grief that just doesn't ever go away. It's so much more extreme than any of my friends or family. And I just, oftentimes, those type of people, it's hard for them to go on because
Yeah.
it's hard to live when your grief reaches a certain point. And so we'll chip away at it. Oftentimes, things happen in layers where certain events build through childhood and adulthood. And if you don't deal with them, the older you get, the harder it gets. And it
Right.
can also cause physical issues too. And so we'll work on releasing things. Usually, when we work on healing, it's not chronological, it's whatever's most important to heal. And
Yeah.
so there are times when I can't heal certain things, but there are other times when we can clear a lot. But it all just sort of depends on where you're at. And there is processing time that needs to happen in between sessions too, where your body has to get used to what it released and physically have a new normal.
Right. To be able to accept that a new normal is possible is often like a hurdle
Mm-hmm.
that would be addressed in the almost talk therapy that you do as well,
Yeah.
right? Like talking through it and finding that, a lot of times we don't see what we're saying. It's being channeled through us all the time and we just don't hear it. So it's like that game, have you ever seen that card game? It's like a board game called Gibberish, and it's a bunch of real
No.
words. It's a
Uh-huh.
game we have. You pull a card and there's a bunch of real words and you say those words, but then when you say it with your voice, someone listening to you could hear a phrase that's a common phrase, but you can't hear it because you're looking at how it's spelled to be these other words. And so it's an example of often needing someone else to be outside of you to hear it, to hear what you're saying to yourself, what your higher self is saying to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a point here. I was hoping that we can. Vanessa says, my pain goes away when I change my focus, but I have to focus like a laser beam. I have three herniated discs in my neck and three more at the bottom of my spine from falling off a horse 18 years ago. In a situation like that, thank you for offering information, Vanessa. What would be, how would you start that process to assist her?
So I'd start with the basics. Are there things we can work on that will help heal that? And
Yeah.
with that, I get a yes. And then I ask what tool we're going to use. And I'm not going to go through my list right now, but there is a trapped emotion that could help improve it. And so I've got lots of lists and things like that. Like this is the emotion code list, and
Oh,
there's
cool.
60 emotions on here. I have a list that has 400 negative trapped emotions. But so I would find the first one that contributes towards it. So let's just see what that is. And I'm getting the energy of terror. And so sometimes terror is like horror movie terror. Other times it's more of a spur of the moment, just extremely freaked out. Let me get an age, and maybe Vanessa knows about this. And usually it's tied to an event. So let me get an age for her.
Okay.
Getting something around age 19. Ages are the hardest thing. So it's like plus or minus a year. So like something 18, 19, 20, where it was a really extreme thing that her body wasn't able to process the energy of terror. And so that's lodged in her body. And so what we're going to do is we're going to release that. And I am getting that if Vanessa doesn't remember what it is, that we can still release it. But I always ask for help and assistance. And if somebody's got healing in their background, I want them to go ahead and release it. But if you don't, I just want you to say a prayer or a request that the terror energy release. And so I'm going to just sort of focus in and grab on and snap it away. And then I'm going to check back in and just see, did that release? I am getting that released. And then also I like to fill it with love, light, and healing because I created a void. And so with that release, some people feel it. Most people feel maybe lighter, or they feel like a little pop from wherever it was when it releases. I get a handful of people that don't really notice anything. I've got 2 clients that when it releases, an image flashes in their head of what was going on when that emotion got trapped. They could tell me who was there, what was going on, and exactly the energy of what they felt at that moment. And it's very unusual, but really cool because I don't
Yeah.
have that gift. So I really enjoy people that do because I'm like, wow. And
Yeah.
so, yeah. So we'll see. So, Vanessa, I would want you to just walk a little bit around your room and just see if your level of pain dropped a notch. Because especially 18 years is plus the accident with the falling off the horse is a lot of time for things to accumulate. So I would not expect one trapped emotion to be like a miracle cure, but I would hope that it would lessen it at least a little bit.
Yeah. You know, I felt it. I really did feel it when when you were talking about it, and I also got that that had something to do with like almost. I don't want to say very much because I don't. She hasn't said it's okay to talk about her past, but I feel like there's also
Mm-hmm.
something there with maybe being violated in some way.
Yeah, and
But
sometimes when people don't have a clue, I'll dig in a little further. I'll ask, was this friends? Was it family? Was it coworkers? And sort of get, oh, that's wonderful. Thank you,
awesome.
Vanessa, for sharing that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you for all of you who participated. I saw some of you comments saying that you're participating. Thank you.
Yeah.
This
And
is fun.
sometimes
If
there are,
anybody else wants to do, sorry, excuse
yes,
me.
yes, there are reasons why you're listening to this with Vanessa because maybe you can relate to something in your past that will help it just release from you.
Yeah, it's okay to talk
Okay.
about our past. Cool. Yeah, I just got a lot of like, it felt like sexually based to me. Like
Yep.
the shame,
Relationship.
sexual shame is the word I would say.
Okay.
But it came up. You really, when that whole thing was happening, I could really feel that coming up. And it was an honor to be able to like help by experiencing the
Mm-hmm.
emotion because that's all the emotion wants, right? It's energy in motion.
Yep.
It's emotion.
Yeah. That's pretty
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah. Well, so thank you. There's also if anyone else has something they're wondering about or would like assistance with, this is fun. You know, to
Yeah.
be if you don't you want to keep okay, cool.
We can
Um
keep going. It's cool that you can dig in further. I usually don't just because we got to get going and get more and
mm,
clear and clear and clear. But it's fun that you can give the details.
yeah, I think that's because that's how I've always been told since I was little. Like I have cartoons in my head. Spirit
Mm-hmm.
is constantly feeding me with images and so that's how I've learned to communicate. So you ever see that series Herman's Head? It was like in the 90s. If you're not, most people haven't, but if you ever do look it up and see Herman's Head, that's what it's like to be inside my
Okay.
head. But we have a comment. I've done spiritual hypnotherapy, same idea, but not QHHT by name. When I was finally in deep relaxation, I was hit by a sudden anxiety and couldn't go further. And I would say that most people I have these conversations with who haven't done something like that, I have a stray hair, it's driving me crazy. This is why they come to a certain point where there's like a block, and like
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, what is there anything to that you could suggest to anyone to help them through that block?
Part of it's safety. So I know with my sessions, I've had a handful of people I have not been able to get to the end goal, which is connecting with the higher self. But generally, for majority of my clients, I'm able to do the past life piece of it, but I need to get them deeper to really get answers. And so there are times when people are just not safe. And part of it is I suggest if they're really interested in hypnotherapy, past life regression, that part of it depends on how comfortable they are with me as a practitioner, as a person, because not
Mhm.
everybody resonates. And that's really super important if you're going to allow me to put you under.
Right.
And so maybe someone else would be a better fit for Subsy, or maybe a healing session to ask why did you get blocked?
Right.
And sometimes there are some not so good things out there that don't want you to know things.
Hmm.
And so that's something too. So not all the time, but I have seen things try to shut down sessions with a client a
Yeah.
handful of times, which is a little scary that something has that much power, but
Yeah.
we're able to overcome and get answers. But I lost all my electronics because normally I record everything. So that way, especially if we're going an hour or 2 hours, they're not going to remember everything.
Right.
And so
Nor are
I,
you.
as soon as I got her in deep enough to ask the questions, my electronics cut out, and I
Wow.
didn't know it. So
Oh, bummer.
luckily, I take notes, so I was able to send her my notes. And most people remember at least parts of their session. It's rare for people not to remember anything when I bring them back out. But still, if you're under for a long length of time, it's like getting a reading. You're not going to remember absolutely everything.
Yeah.
So I always like to record things. And also, if healing happens in those types of sessions, it if you listen to it again, it can bring the healing to a deeper area.
Yeah. I find that to be true. It's timeless
Mm-hmm.
in a way. You're doing it again in a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank
So I
you.
hope Subsea that was helpful.
Yeah.
But part of it is, you might want to look at personal healing.
Yeah.
On YouTube there is some self hypnosis kind of things.
Mhm.
So I've been sort of playing around with a group hypnosis for past life regression, but I have not done that yet. But it's on my list of things I want to do for for my clients.
Awesome. I do have some experience with that. Oh, Vanessa says that's true. Okay, well, we got it. I'm glad we got to the root of it for her, and I know that there's a lot more layers to go in there, just like you had mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Which also shows in the different layers of her body that it's still affected. It's
Yep.
like each of those is a different layer of healing, and
Mm-hmm.
so. Um, I'm really happy that you brought your story up so it can start to be addressed, and
Mm-hmm.
perhaps connecting with Summer in a session, or repeating what we've done here at this today,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. I have some experience with auto regression, YouTube video style. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of auto regression out there, and
Yes.
I can say that in contrast to the stories of because every time I've had some QHHT thing set up, it's fallen through right before it. It's just spirit
Oh.
saying no to me, so
Yep.
they say yes to more people than they say no, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, for me, I got to know. And so when I did that, I found, in contrast, comparing the stories, auto regression is much more subtle. It takes longer for there to be a noticeable result than it does for a session like if I were to come do a QHHT session with you today,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we have some more people who have questions. Are you ready?
Cool. Yes.
All right. Carolina says, I have a habit of self sabotage together with chronic illness, lungs, cystic fibrosis. Don't know how to heal it.
And so with that, the first thing I would do is see, is it all related? And I could know it's
Yeah.
multiple issues. So then I ask, what do we focus on first? Do we focus on the self sabotage? I get no. Chronic illness with lungs? Yes. So that's where we would start and look and see. And then since I'm using my simplest, fastest tool right now, we're going to use the trapped emotion. I'm going to see what it is that's contributing. And it is the energy of worthless. And let me get an age. 16. So somewhere 15, 16, 17, that teenage angsty stuff where kids can be mean to each other, families sometimes can be mean. And so let's focus on Carolina releasing that energy of worthless, because that does not serve you. So we're going to hone in and release. And then I'm going to send healing energy to work on filling up that void. And then I check and make sure that it released. And I do get yes. In session, I used to just release things and not really include the participants in it. But at some point, I realized that there's some residual energies that would stick around. And so if we did it together, it was a better healing and better results. So Carolina, I hope that helps. During a regular session, afterwards I'd tune in and see, are there more trapped emotions, or is there another tool that I need to use to continue on to work on the lung illness.
What emotions connected to the lung?
Let me see if I've got that on here.
Yeah, I don't know.
So my little chart from the emotion code on here, it's got areas, but worthless is actually connected to glands or sexual organs. But typically, it's a row 3 thing, which is lung or colon. And here are the 10 energies, emotional energies that are connected to the lung or colon: crying, discouragement, rejection, sadness, sorrow, confusion, defensiveness, grief, self-abuse, and stubbornness. So especially grief is a very popular one where people have gotten lung cancer and they've had times of chronic grief, like what was it, Christopher Reeve's wife, who had quite the life, died of lung cancer. And for her husband to be paralyzed and then dying, and just the horror of things. And I have a friend who died of lung cancer too, and she had a lot of grief in her life. So
yeah. Wow. Well, thank you. This is really useful. I'm wondering how Carolina feels now.
Mm-hmm.
If you're still in the audience, I'd love to hear how you're feeling. Miriam says, "Hi, Mila and Summer, 2 of my faves."
Yes. Hello.
And thank you for everybody in the audience participating in this healing for each of you. This is really cool. I really like this. This is fun. All right, so we got another one. Should we grab it?
Okay. Sure.
I've been starring them. I got to find it. Okay. Sub-Z says, "I wonder why I keep getting dehydrated at night when I relax, and I need to keep drinking water and getting up to pee. I'm grateful for any help. It's been disrupting my sleep for 2+ years," was the additional text.
Okay. So there are things that come up in a session when people don't always ask. And there's one that I get about half the people. And there's another that maybe a third of the people, and it's dealing with water and dehydration. And usually it has nothing to do with what we're working on, but the universe wants them to fix it. And so it's a different tool, but there's basically 3 questions. So I ask, are you drinking enough? And so with Sub-Z, is Sub-Z drinking enough? I get yes. And so it's not a quantity issue. So next we're going to check on quality. is the type of water that Sub Z is drinking, is it a good enough quality? And I get a yes, and that's pretty typical. That's but the third thing that most people have trouble with is there's something presenting absorption. And I'm getting that that's Sub Z's issue. And so usually I try and fix things in the simplest way. So I'm just going to ask, is there a trapped emotion that's contributing to this? Of course there is. So I'm going to see what that is. So I'm getting the energy of self-abuse. And so that's when you sort of beat yourself up, mentally,
No
emotionally.
self-worth.
Let me get an age. Wow, you were 6, like 5, 6, 7, so really little. And the thing is, when you have trapped emotions that are from so young, sometimes it's not yours. Let me just see, is this yours? No. So it was someone very close to you, most likely family, or if you had a little friend. I'm getting family who felt this self abuse, and you were so close to them that you absorbed it too. So let's go ahead and release it, especially since it's not even yours. But you've been hanging on to that for quite a while just because you were so little. So we're going to hone into self abuse, and we're going to release. And just allow that to go, because it's going to feel a little different. So I'm getting that released, and we're going to fill any voids. But then I'm going to go back. Are there other things that are preventing you from absorbing water the way you need to? I get no. But sometimes as you're processing, because this is sort of a big thing, you need to wait a couple days and just see how it feels, because it's going to take that long just to settle. And it's possible another layer might come up, but for now, that's all I'm getting with that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sub-Z's also added, I ended up getting an Akashic record reading for the past life. That past life, I was definitely a heavy and traumatic past life. That mystery has been solved at this point. So
Okay.
there's many layers. I liked that you brought the past life stuff up, because there's many layers of these things. And so a little bit at a time, it takes you a lot farther than you realize, even though it
Yeah.
may require a little bit of patience.
Yeah. That energy at 6, that was a current life.
Okay. Awesome. I find this to be true. This is just, it's like you and I are a perfect balancing thing here. It's like, because you'll get one side and I get the other side, and I don't ever get this side. So it's really cool. Is that every time that there's some type of trauma in this life, it's there to point at the trauma that didn't get healed from the previous incarnation. Every time. And it'll pile up. And after a while, sometimes it ends up being too much to bear. Or, those are moments where you just can't even get out of bed sometimes, because it's piled up. However, it's doing it so it can point at it for you. So if you got something at a really young age or in your formative years, often it's a link to a previous incarnation. It's just a repeat almost. Right?
Yeah. And then usually I address that in a really simple way. It doesn't need to be done in a regression session. We'll just snip the cords between this life and that and disconnect you from the energy.
Awesome. That's really good idea. Yeah. Oh, hello. Good to see you, Paige. I actually meant to. Carolina says, interesting, beautiful feeling, vibrations in head and butterflies in stomach. Everything is correct. Thank you for your input. Awesome. Thanks
That
for
is very
helping
cool.
people. We got a few more people who would like some assistance. Do you have?
Oh,
You want to do some
sure.
more? And if anybody wants to comment, please do. Write it in the comments. Lisa says, I'm 62. Why have I been a chronic insomniac for most of my life?
Let's see. So we're going to focus on emotional trauma, and because I do get that that's playing a role, but it's not everything. But let's see if we can take the edge off at least a bit. So I'm getting the energy of taken for granted. And let me get an age for Lisa. Like around 24, so fairly young. So it wasn't family, it was and it wasn't work, but it was some type of relationship. So was it a friend or was it a romantic? So romantic relationship where you're taken for granted. So let's hone in on that and release it. So I'm getting that released.
It helps to open yourself up to receive the gift, knowing that you're worth the gift. You're worth it. Like, so open yourself up when you're to receive the energy she's given you, if you could.
Nice. And I'm getting wherever it was trapped, it's in the part of the body that has more control over sleep. So I'm not sure if that's a brain thing.
Mm. Always giving to everybody else more than she should as well, right?
Yeah.
So would it depend on what side of the brain, what the emotion would be behind it?
No, because even though I've got charts of where things typically get trapped, they don't always go there. Sometimes there's other reasons for it to go to a certain location.
Right.
So
I didn't mean to interrupt your flow. Pardon me.
nope, that's okay. I'm getting it released. So
Awesome.
Lisa will have to let you know if things have shifted a bit after, especially after a few days.
Yeah. You're deserving and worthy of the basic expectations of being a human on this earthly plane. That includes sleep, peace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very emotional saying those things out loud.
Mm-hmm. And so sometimes when you have trapped emotions, when you think about it, taken for granted, you can attract situations like that. So do you take it for granted that you need sleep as much as you do? You know, I think especially when we're young and invincible, we don't think we can make it up later, you know, or I'll sleep all weekend, but that's really hard on your body and your mental state. So
Yeah.
so think about that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I don't mean to cut you off. You mind if are we moving on to the next thing or?
Sure.
Okay. I just wanted to say, Sub-Z says, thank you so much. You know,
Oh,
like
you're
there's
welcome.
clearly something that got moved there. So,
Mhm.
And Miriam says, I've had sessions with both Summer and Mila. They're both spot on and have assisted me tremendously. I recommend both of these ladies.
Oh,
Thank you for your
thank you,
comment.
Miriam.
And we're not done the conversation yet. I was going to say while we're in the middle here that you can connect with Summer through this website that I put up here, www.csummerjones.com. Also, if you want to find her on Facebook or YouTube, they're both at Healing by Summer. I think they're all one word. I think YouTube, Facebook might be separated between spaces, but
Facebook, I think, is separate, but that's definitely the YouTube.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I'm doing free mini healings on the 1st. I do the 1st of each month at 7 Central.
What's a mini healing like?
So we generally are there for an hour. If there's a lot of people, it's longer, but I try and it's usually a small group, 10, 20 people. And usually we'll do one individual healing per person where they'll just write what they need to work on, if they're working on pain in their elbow or they're feeling extra sad, or some people just want to know, we clear whatever's most important. So I'll work on releasing the trapped emotions. And during that time, we do 3 healing pulses. And then sometimes I throw in few little extras. And then usually we end with like something I call aura strengthening. But that's cool. The 1st at 7 Central every month. So
awesome. Aura, that's just really, I love the sound of that. Like that, sometimes there's things that when you hear it, that's a thing, an aura strengthening. I just like, wow, that's really cool. I love that sound.
It's sort of fun.
Cool. We have I actually didn't mean to skip you. You were in my starred section, Maya, and she says, I have had severe pain in my neck and hips since 2015. I really want help. I hope that you're still here. I didn't mean to pass you up. So
hopefully. So even though they started in 2015, there's different reasons for them. So let's see what's most important. We're going to start with the hips and just see. Very interesting. I think this is the first time it's ever happened. I have not gotten a trapped emotion from the chart I'm using. So I think I'm going to try my chart that has a lot more than 60. It's got over 400. Let's see if I get a different result.
That's cool that you have that much.
Yeah, some of the words are a little crazy and have never come up, and there's a few that I don't think I've ever even said.
It's all the Latin words, right?
Yeah, or things that, maybe it was a book from 100 years ago.
Right.
But this word has come up. And it's the energy of being unmindful. Let me get an age. And I get an age of 19. And so somewhere like 18, 19, 20. And this is sort of the exact time I would expect unmindful, because you're recently graduated from high school. You maybe are off to college, or you've gotten work and a job and you have a lot more freedom. You might have your own apartment. And so you're focused a lot on the experiences of things and being around other people. And I think at that age, it's harder to be mindful when you're so excited about all the experiences.
Yeah.
And I know there are some kids that are very different and are very mindful. But with the age that came up, I think with, is it Maya,
Yes.
that there's something that was going on around that age that I don't think she was aware of because she was unmindful. So I think I'm going to just go in and release that energy of being a bit oblivious. So I'm going to focus in. What are you getting? Because I can see.
Yeah, I am. And she's a very attractive person. I've never met her or talked to
Oh,
her. I've never seen her, but they're showing me that she just uh, had a lot of perhaps
attention.
attention that wasn't really warranted or invited.
Oh, that's hard and distracting.
Yeah. And maybe
So
not
let's
always
release it.
knowing that was what was happening too.
Yeah. Well, and you're 19. Everything is so new, especially if your parents or family kept you a little more protected.
Yeah.
So I'm getting that released. It's interesting though, the hips came up to work on first because you think about structure. So if your hips have issues, it throws everything else off.
The foundation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
So I do get this is going to help her neck though too, even though we didn't work on it.
Well, that would make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because then you would lean to try to like the Leaning Tower of Pisa tries to
Mm-hmm.
adjust it, right?
So, and with this, with the healing pulse, um, reuse that energy. Start with your hips and do another one, and then do your neck, and then evaluate and see where both are at, and just
Yeah.
allow that energy to flow.
And to feel safe in your sexual energy. Yeah, I said the
Yeah.
S word. Like and in an independent, safe kind of way, is a very healthy thing, despite what some, you know, church s- members might tell you. You're not going to go blind if you have self-expression. You know what I mean? I I don't want to go gross on anybody, but that there's been a lot of limitation of letting yourself having your own, that energy that moves through in a sexual way, whether or not you're with somebody else, is very healing. And when you're safe and protected. And I feel like sometimes we stop the flow of that because we feel like there's some type of judgment or something wrong with us if we do that. I know that doesn't probably make sense that I brought it up right then, but I hope that it helps the person that's listening, because
Yes. Yes, I hope so too. So,
yeah,
yeah, because that's sort of miserable.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. Lisa wants or commented or responded to you. She says,
Mhm.
"Thank you so much. I'm feeling warm, tingling in my heart space. I have always given too much to others." There you go. And kept
Yeah.
going to help others. So enlightening. Oh, wow. Well, thank you for your comment.
Yeah. Very helpful.
And thank you for helping so many people. We do have another person in the audience. Are you getting, like, I don't want to take you too long, so like
Nope.
I know we have a
We're
capacity. Okay,
we're good. It's Friday night at home, and usually we just watch movies. So,
cool. Okay. And if there's anyone else, in the audience, let us know. We're here for a little bit longer. Okay, so Crystal has one. She says, "I have this issue my gums, they get really sore at times, and my teeth that started really intense in the last year. When I was younger, I always grinded my teeth at night, even in my adult life.
Okay. So let's see, because there's multiple things. They're not all same area, but they're not, the root isn't all related. So let's see. So gums, no. Intense in the last year, no. We're going to look at the grinding the teeth. Go back to my little list. So I'm getting the energy of unsupported. Let me get an age. Getting like age 26. So like 25, 26, 27. And so unsupported, it can be unsupported by family, friends, work, or it can be where you don't feel supported by the universe, where you feel let down. And so let's go ahead and release that, because especially if you have unsupported, trapped multiple times, it can make you feel really awful that you don't have any support. And it's not because you have it trapped so many times, it's not really legitimate. It's just because you're super sensitive to it, if that makes sense. So we're going to take away a layer, and hopefully this will help you feel more supported. Okay, I'm getting that did release. So we're going to fill any voids created.
I have some input. I don't know if I'm going to interrupt you. You tell me.
Nope, you're good.
This is also linked to a previous incarnation. Is there a way you said to cut it? How do you do that?
Yep. And so what we do is usually I make sure it's okay to snip, but my instruction usually is, so this is a past life that has like a pipeline to this lifetime, but you don't really need it. So if you really want to know more about that life, you can access it through like a past life regression. But I really would like to snip the cord between the two so there is not a direct connection. And so usually I call in Archangel Michael and have him with his mighty sword just surgically snip it next to crystal. And then we're going to have him snip in the past life. The cord's going to be recycled. And then I'm going to send healing pulse energy to where that cord was. I'm going to like attach to the jaw.
Yeah.
So.
And it looks iridescent, this cord. It's really cool looking. It doesn't look bad. It's like the tree that tries to help the other tree that has been chopped down to keep going. It's a stump now, but it gives all of its energy to it, trying to keep it. But the other, you don't need to be connected anymore. As far back as Atlantis, this one. It's an old one.
That's cool. You can see it. Usually I say it's like a little silver or gold cord, but iridescent sounds amazing.
Yeah, like
but I'm glad it's disconnected, because because it's not healthy.
No.
So, Crystal, I hope that helps.
Thank you. That was awesome. We have a response from Maya. She says, "Thank you so much. That's right. I was beautiful and Mila is right. I've started practicing it." Awesome.
Good.
Thank you
That's
for,
amazing.
yeah. Summer, this is awesome. Like, we'll keep going until you call it, okay? I don't want to overdo it for you, but we have some more. There's another tooth one. This is really
Okay.
common right now. Zilda says, teeth trauma, I guess, is my biggest lifelong issue. I don't have pain, just shame and the damage to them so far.
Oh.
Shame associated with the throat chakra can be very complicated when you're here in this awakening. How can we best help her to resolve that?
So, there's a few things. So, something I do normally naturally is I do oil pulling. Are you familiar with that?
Coconut oil?
Coconut oil, or in a pinch, you can even use not great oil because you're going to spit it out anyways, and just pull out the toxins that are in your mouth around your teeth. And so there's a lot on it on YouTube. I suggest if you've got teeth issues, and just my main instruction is don't swallow. You just
Yes.
spit. Yeah. But let
And
me see.
you don't want to spit it down the sink either, just so anybody's listening.
No.
It can mess up your pipes really easy.
Yep. I usually go outside and spit. Or
Yeah.
spit it in the garbage.
Yeah.
So let's see. So I'm getting the energy of shock. So let me get an age, and I would expect, because usually shock is an event. Like 14. So 13, 14, 15. Something happened. Something with your family. So let's go ahead and release that energy and that trauma or shock around that event. And so with the word shame, there is something, it's from the book Power versus Force, and it talks about the map of consciousness. Now, this they call it level of consciousness. Have you worked with this at all?
No.
So, this is a level of emotions. And so, at the very bottom, up to the top, it's got the level. So, like the red, it starts 20, 30, 50. And so, it's got these are all the worst of the worst. And shame is right there with them. So if you have a lot of shame in your life, it drags everything good in your life down. And so with Zilda, or is it Zilj?
Oh, right. I didn't.
Yep.
Zilchi.
She's an alchemist, though. That's cool.
Yeah.
But so it's really worth it to work on shame, because shame is in this bottom level. And as you release the shame, it allows you to move up. So I'll just say some of the others that are lowest: despising, vindictive, condemning, hopeless, evil, miserable, shame, guilt, apathy, despair, blame, humiliation, elimination, destruction, and abdication. And so as you move up, because we all have good and bad in our lives, but if you have too much of the bad, it's going to bring everything down. So the goal is to get up above 200. And so 250 has enabling, satisfactory, neutrality, trust, and release. So much more positive, but yet it's more of a middle ground. So up at the top, is purple. And so that's got self, all being is, perfect, enlightenment, peace, ineffable bliss, illumination, and pure consciousness. So the goal is always to evolve and bring you closer to the ascension energies. So
I resonate
yeah, I'm
with
always
that.
sort of triggered when I hear shame, just because that's some of my issues I've worked on too.
And shame is what blocks our sacral chakra, and our sacral chakra
Mhm.
is where our inner child resides.
Yeah.
So if you have too much shame, you can't. It's more difficult to connect with that true you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to see that list. That's what spirit tells me about. I never knew that. So they say that the two root emotions are fear and love, and the spectrum in between. And next to fear is anger, shame, low self-worth, guilt, and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you move into like a more like and then love. So those are the only two real emotions, though, is fear and love.
Yep.
That's it. It's all that exists. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's so fun to see. I get validated when I see stuff like that,
Yeah.
but that's awesome.
Yep. So that was
I
the
got
map of consciousness, and it's all over the internet if you search for it.
cool map of consciousness. I get a lot of that with, and it also felt like almost like a time of feeling like you were abandoned or an
Oh.
orphaned. Like not all of a sudden your family got pulled away. You may have left your family, run away, moved out, gone someplace new. And but I did feel like there was the same thing that you were saying, Summer. It's just this as a result of not feeling safe enough to be seen out loud. Okay, I'm. How would you pronounce that? Would you help me?
Is it Zildjian?
Thank you. Zildjian is
Maybe?
an alchemist, is how it's said. Awesome. Thank you. I'll have to
She's a,
check that
she's a
out.
girl alchemist, I think.
Awesome.
I like that. Cool.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. All right, I have somebody who wrote like 3 or 4 different things that go together.
Okay.
So, okay, this is from Freddie. Uh, Hello, Mila and Summer. Thank you for incarnating at such a beautiful time on Earth. I've seen many doctors and neurologists. Since 2018, I not only have whole body, neck, back pulling sensation, high pitched sound. Oops, wrong one. Excuse me. I am 60 and worked all my life as Leo, and have also been losing teeth and gums. Greatly appreciate any assessing empath. Thank you, wonderful master healers. There's another part. Um,
Okay,
Plus
part number
constant
4
motivation.
is what we're going to work on.
Pardon me.
Part number 4.
The one losing teeth and gums. Is this one? Or did I don't know
Okay.
how many parts I've touched.
I
You
think
tell
that's
me.
number 4.
Okay.
So, for those of you home who do any self-healing kind of things, this is one of my favorite tools. Have you seen this, Mila?
The secret language. It's reverse. I'm reading it.
Oh,
Of your body. Ooh.
yep, by Ina Segal. And the cool thing is, so it's got parts of your body that have issues. So like there's a teeth area, nails, hips, knees, and then there's certain conditions. So like here's conditions under R: rash, repetitive strain, reproductive system, restless leg syndrome. But it tells you the emotions that are connected to either the issue or the area. So like for teeth, it gives quite a few trapped emotions. And sometimes I use this just because it's a shortcut for me instead of going one by one and pulling them from my list. So this is a list of all the things that could be possible contributing factors. And so I tell my clients, if these are yours, if you have half or more, we're going to focus more on this.
Right.
And so it says holding on to shame, guilt, fear, anger, blame, bitterness, difficulty making empowered decisions, self neglect, resolved childhood issues, and frequent self sabotage, feeling overwhelmed and stressed, frustrated about your inability to express yourself clearly. And so with Falcon, I would ask, do you have at least half of these that are yours? And isn't it interesting? We've had a number of people with teeth issues and gum issues. So
Yeah.
there are some instructions that I could go through, because usually I just go by the book, and then if more comes up, then I work on that. But this book sort of walks you through this. And being that we've had a number of people say that's their issue, do
This
you
is
want
really
me to go
common.
further? Okay.
Please. I would
Right.
say 4 out of 5 people that I talk to are experiencing gum, teeth, oral,
Okay.
even oral trauma related stuff right now. This throat
Okay.
chakra stuff.
All right, cool. And this will be something nice for the recording if they want to go back and work on the emotion pieces. So with this, we're going to focus on your teeth. Close your eyes. Imagine that you have a small vacuum cleaner which is able to suck out all density or toxins from your teeth. Observe as dense, heavy energy comes out of your teeth. Repeat after me. Divine healing intelligence. I ask you to release all shame, guilt, fear, neglect, blame, anger, and bitterness from my teeth, as well as all points of view, all patterns, and the positive and negative charges that contribute to this condition. And really hone into that. And I want you to repeat the word clear until you feel a shift occur. And then there's a little exercise. I have not worked on the teeth section of this book, but there's a little exercise it wants us to do. And then there's a couple more sentences. So it says, if you have a toothache, touch the tip of your, the tip of thumb with the tip of your little finger, and then straighten out all your other fingers. I have a hard time doing that.
Like a Boy Scout.
Do this with both your hands. Yeah. So tip to tip, do it with both hands for 10 to 15 minutes until you feel relief. Huh. This is a unique one. As you're doing this, I want you to visualize a beautiful pearl-colored substance being placed in each tooth. This substance begins to regenerate the teeth, making them stronger and healthier. That is a nice visualization. And then we're going to end with repeat after me. Divine healing intelligence. Please help me to listen to my own wisdom, to make healing, empowering, and excellent decisions that allow me to experience a more fulfilling life. Thank you. Divine healing intelligence, please heal and regenerate my teeth and gums to their maximum health, vitality, and well being.
That's awesome.
So, and then it does list unhealthy emotions to work with, which are shame, guilt, fear, and anger. And then healthy emotions to work with are innocence, forgiveness, peace, and freedom.
Hmm.
And if you're into color work, whites and blues. So, sort of a cool thing.
Yeah.
So, this is definitely one of my favorite tools. Um, I've never seen the finger thing. I might have to try it myself. So,
Heck yeah. That's awesome. I'm totally gonna. Did you see the comment? Wow, the bed and I moved when that was when we were doing when you were just doing that.
oh,
Yeah, that's awesome.
very
He also says, I am very open and served in a police officer and retired lieutenant colonel. Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you so much for your help here.
yeah.
Oh, and the answer from before too. She did run away from home
Oh,
when she was 14.
wow. So she lost her family because she ran away.
Yep. And that was that orphaned.
Yeah.
And it's later on she says who she is. I'm not sure if you want anybody on the TV to know,
Yeah,
so I'm not going to
that's
click
okay.
it. But
That's pretty
yeah,
cool. I like it when everything sort of lines up. It lets me know that my energy's doing good when I hit age as well.
we all require validation. I believe
Yeah.
it's something that we maybe it's a crutch, but sometimes the crutches are what are very useful. As
Hmm.
long as we don't over rely on them, this is something to teach you to trust yourself that
Yeah.
you are causing an impact. Like, Crystal, I'm sitting here with it was such a warm peace. I feel a movement vibration running in my jaw gum area. That was her response to when you were addressing her
Yeah.
issues. And so, seeing these comments, seeing that you can impact somebody on a channel, on a show like this, imagine
Mhm.
what can be done if you choose to do a session, and uh, I I would just I don't bring people up to sell something for my buddy. This is I bring people on my show because I know they will benefit y'all. And so that's her website. If you want to hook up with her and make us have a um, and get more information there, her website's really beautiful. I went and looked at it. And then if you want to find her on YouTube, that's how you find her. On Facebook, it's that way, but there's spaces. I
Yeah.
just what I will do though, when we're done with this show, I'll go back and hyperlink it in the description so people can find it.
Oh,
It
thank you.
doesn't do it until I go live for some reason. I don't know why that
Yeah.
happens. But um and we do have this is a really intriguing one. I know we probably need to wrap it up in a couple of minutes, but this is something that I would love to click if you wouldn't mind. One more
Sure.
is a question. Do you help animals too? Because you know what?
Oh,
There are a lot of people having animal ascension symptom conversations
of
right now.
course.
Right.
It's my little Duncan. Dexter's here under the covers. So, yeah. On my website, with animals, I deal more with emails.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but animals can have trapped emotions too. Um,
Yeah.
so, so yeah.
So if someone has something that they would like to help resolve for one of their fur babies, they would email you. Is that what you were saying here
Well,
through
there's
emails?
you can make an appointment through the website, but it's basically an email appointment. So if you pick the date and time, that's sort of like the deadline for me to do it through email.
Okay,
So,
I see. Awesome. Thank you very, very much.
yeah, I love
This is a
animals.
really common question right now. People are like, man, Falcon says, Falcon Love Forever says, yes, thank you so much, Mila and Summer, amazing, beautiful healers. Fingers, pinky, both got closer. I lost my mom on December 18th, 2025.
Oh,
She was a retired New York Police Department police officer. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to her.
yeah.
Yeah. It's I'm very happy to see how much benefit everyone here in the audience have had from this, and thank
Yeah,
you,
this has
ladies
been fun.
and loved one. Yeah. Um, if uh um if you had something to leave with anything like is a, a exit comment, I guess, what what would be the best thing that would help people, like in a general way, maybe those that can't connect with us, aren't able to make a session with you this week or something, in the meantime, to go back on in this video, of course, and do what you've already guided people to do. Though, is there something
Mhm.
more that you'd want to say to help people?
Uh, Mainly be open, um, because part of it is asking a question and then we're too impatient to hear the answer or watch who crosses your path
Yeah,
or the things that come into your awareness. Sometimes the universe is trying to hit you over the head with it.
yeah,
And we're just so busy living life that we just don't always know that we've been answered.
yeah,
So it's more of a, especially when you're working on finding answers, it's that deep reflection too.
yeah, yeah. And to allow yourself to be open to whatever answer you get, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah,
maybe you're waiting for the wrong answer. Maybe you're receiving something you don't really want to acknowledge.
right,
So, and
right.
someone asked about my going live. So I'm going live February 1st at 7 Central on both YouTube and Facebook.
And so that would be 11 p.m. UK time. That's just the other one you can throw in there for people to
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yep.
And that is the first is Sunday, I think.
Yep.
Is it? No, it's not. Okay. I,
Yes.
time is so hard for
Yes.
me to keep up with anyway.
So I'm
And how
wondering,
to,
should we end with another healing pulse?
yeah, sure.
Are there more comments we should?
Let's find, I was, let me see. Well, Lisa says this has been amazing. I had already decided I need to have a session with you before you did my question. Thank you. I look forward to working with you
Oh,
more.
thank you.
Awesome. Um,
Very
is there
cool.
anyone that would like to? I think that I clicked everybody who had a question, but here's one. A
Okay.
lot of people have been reporting um, uh, uh, stuff going on. Yeah, I love hearing I love them too, Miriam. This is really cool. A lot of people have been reporting stuff to do with specific joints, uh, elbows and hips in particular have been something that people are reporting
Mm-hmm.
difficulty in lately. Um, Another really common ascension symptom has to do with just overall sleep and wellness kind of stuff. Like a lot of people are talking about just
Mm-hmm.
sleep disruption things. So I just threw a bunch out there to you. You can pick one.
Yeah. Oh, and Vanessa's cat has abandonment issues. It's like, oh,
Oh, we got left behind. He got left behind when I adopted his two brothers. Then I went back and got him. I'm glad you went back and got him.
yeah.
So, I mean, perhaps we can address. Can you even do elbows? Like, I guess you can go like that.
Yep. El- Elbows are in the book. Let's just look at So they have different ones for left or right elbows, which is
Cool.
interesting. Here are unhealthy emotions to work with for elbows: frustration, anger, jealousy. And then they've got possible contributing factors that list just both: stagnation, limitation, frustration, anger, jealousy, lacking awareness of your own needs, stiffness in mind and body, the belief that life is all struggle and strain, lack of direction.
That makes a lot of sense to me because that's where everybody's leaving
Yeah.
behind right now.
Yep. But the interest, when I look at right elbow, and I've mainly worked on hips and knees for people, so I've not worked on elbows or teeth. So right elbow, it says feeling elbowed, poked, or jabbed by others, people interfering with your life, feeling tormented, harassed, taken advantage of, made fun of, taken for a ride, difficulty letting go of old hurts and anger. But then the left elbow, so I don't know if it's a male, female, with the sides of
I
the
think
body.
so. Yeah.
So the left elbow is feeling unsupported and weak, leaning too much on others, difficulty making decisions, feeling stressed and overwhelmed, either over emotional or suppressed feelings. So, very
Interesting.
interesting, the
Yeah.
differences in the three groups.
Knowledge is power. Just knowing what it is can, just in
Yeah.
that alone, can resolve it. Yeah. That's awesome. And
Yeah.
then the hip thing, excuse me. I
Yeah.
feel like the hip is connected somehow. Like, so that's why I clicked her comment. I feel like it's
Yeah.
like a
Oh,
square of
yes.
energy, like the elbows and then the hips. Like there's somehow some, they're together something. I might be such a broad stroke that doing a pulse on something like this is just silly. I don't know what I'm talking
Well,
about.
no. So, here's the deal with the pulse, it goes to where you direct it. And that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah.
And so normally I say focus on the physical because it's easier to sort of notice the results, but it does very well on emotions. But say you don't have something, sometimes I say send it to your chakra that needs the most work, or if you want to send it to your third eye, you know, do the front and the back. That's sort of a
Yeah.
fun thing. Or do your heart, because especially, in this day and age, I'm in Minnesota, lots of trauma and horribleness going on everywhere.
Yeah.
And so you just got to fill your heart up with love. So,
Yeah.
so do you know where you're going to send yours?
I'm going to my heart. I always go to my heart. That's like
Yeah.
that's the main place that light is delivered is the heart.
Cool. All right. Should we do it?
Yeah, let's do it. And yes, the answer is sub Z. Could you do a general pulse in that case? Yeah, that's what we're gonna do right now.
Yep.
Right. So
Yeah,
everybody
because
that's listening,
yep, you are the ones directing where it goes.
yeah,
So I want you to start by rubbing your hands together. Get that energy flowing because you have healing energy too. Place your hands exactly where you want to receive the energy. Imagine my hands on yours. And then just allow the energy to flow. With each breath in, the healing goes a little deeper. With each breath out, you are releasing. Going a little deeper. Just imagine it expanding and expanding and expanding with each breath. Okay, so that was our second healing pulse.
That was fun.
Very nice.
Wow. Thank you.
Well, thank you. This was fun.
It was so much fun. I feel so reinvigorated and recharged. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I know everybody here, there's been comments, you can probably see them as you scroll through. A lot of people benefited today. You know,
Yeah.
there's everyone that you did, you got spot on. You know,
Cool.
yeah,
Love that.
yeah. That says a lot. You know, so, and if anyone's listening in, you came, you got to this show, and got this far in the show for a reason. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so there's something there for you. If you were called to do it, this is her website, www.csummerjones.com, or you can find her on Facebook at Healing by Summer, as well as on YouTube at Healing by Summer as one word. Um, and I will put the hyperlink in the video, and then also link you on my Facebook so people can see how to find you directly on Facebook,
Okay.
because this is also streaming on Facebook right now.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
And so anyone who wants to connect with you are able to do that. Once again, I'll click over here so they can have this access number too. Thank you so much for this. This was such a great service to everybody in the community, and I can feel everyone's relief. I can feel what happened, in this. And like thank yous all across the board. Thank you, great show. I put my hands on gallbladder and felt relief, says Miriam. There's
Wow.
everybody got something out of it today. So I just want to say thank all of you for your input and for being willing and open to receive the healing that was provided today. That was really fun to be able to be a part of. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice
Yeah.
to meet everyone too.
And I hope to have you on at some point again. If you feel like you want to join us,
Oh,
please know that you're always welcome.
wow. That would be great.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you. And I will see all of you that are in this. Yeah, isn't this amazing? I will see you all again in a couple of days. I'll be back on Sunday. And then on the 2-2 portal on Monday, we're going to do a show with Josie Jackson. Remember that Summer's going to have a mini, what would you call
Mini healing session Sunday
uh,
evening if you're in the US.
So, and if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, that'll be the 2-2 portal. So,
Oh.
um, and we in the Northern Hemisphere will already be in the energy of the 2-2 portal, even though it's 2-1 for us. So that's a really good time to make use of something like that. So that's really cool that you're doing it on that day. Thank you once again, and I'll see you all really, really, really soon.